Okay, so let's unpack this. Servant leadership.
Right.
It's a concept that's built on, well, what seems like a contradiction, doesn't it?
That
How can you be a servant and a leader at the same time?
Exactly. The two words seem to be in opposition.
And I think that's what's so powerful about the term itself. It creates
Yeah.
that aha moment.
Yeah.
So for this deep dive, we're going to try to give you the quickest, most thorough grounding possible in this philosophy.
And any grounding in this has to start with one person, Robert K. Greenleaf.
Right.
I mean, this was a man who understood traditional corporate structures better than almost anyone. He spent 40 years deep in management research at AT&T.
40 years is a long time.
A lifetime. And when he retired in 1964, he didn't stop. He launched a whole second career, 25 years as a consultant for some massive institution.
Like MIT, the Ford Foundation, places like that.
The big ones. But what's so fascinating is that the spark for this whole thing, it didn't come from a business school case study.
No, it came from fiction.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
It is. Greenleaf coined the term in his big 1970 essay, The Servant as Leader. But the idea really crystallized for him after reading a novel, Hermann Hesse's Journey to the East.
It's a great origin story.
It really is. The book's central character is this guy, Leo. And he's he's the servant. He accompanies this group of travelers, does all the menial chores, always serving.
The guy in the background.
Totally. But then Leo disappears. And the entire group just falls apart. They lose their way, the whole journey is abandoned, and later the narrator finds out the truth.
Which is?
That Leo, the servant, was secretly the great leader of the entire organization the whole time.
He was servant first. It wasn't a tactic. It was who he was.
That's the core. And Greenleaf, he gave us this really powerful litmus test to know if you're doing it right. He said the test is, do those served grow as persons?
And he goes on, right?
Yeah. Do they, while being served, become healthier, wiser, freer, more autonomous, more likely themselves to become servants?
That is it's a revolutionary standard.
It is.
Most leadership models are all about profit or efficiency or market share. This one forces you to measure your success by the growth of your people.
And if they aren't growing, if they aren't becoming more autonomous, then you've failed the test. It's that simple. It completely shifts the focus.
It's not about being nice either.
No, not at all. It's about an active, intense investment in people, sharing power, building a real community at work, and caring about the whole person.
And this shows up in some really specific ways. The first one that always gets me is the focus on persuasion over authority.
It's absolutely crucial. A servant leader persuades, they build consensus. They don't just, give orders because of their job title.
Which is a huge break from the top-down model.
A massive break. And the sources suggest this probably came from Greenleaf's own connection to the Quakers, the Religious Society of Friends, who really value listening and consensus.
But I can already hear the pushback, isn't that just slow? How do you move fast in a crisis if you have to persuade everyone?
It's a fair question. But the argument is that what you lose in short-term speed, you gain back, and then some, in long-term commitment.
Because everyone's actually on board.
Exactly. They own the decision. And that requires deep listening, deep empathy. You have to really hear the will of the group, and you have to assume people have good intentions.
Assuming good intentions, that alone could change most workplaces overnight.
Absolutely. And then there's foresight. Greenleaf called this the lead that the leader has.
The lead?
Yeah, the ability to see what's coming, to understand the consequences of today's actions tomorrow. If you lose that, if you're just reacting to crises all day,
you're not a leader anymore.
You're a leader in name only. You're just managing the present, not creating the future.
So as this idea grew, other people started building on it. Stephen Covey, for instance, he created a framework to put it into practice. 4 roles.
Right. Modeling, pathfinding, alignment, and empowerment.
Let's break those down a bit.
Sure. Modeling is just walk the talk. Simple. Pathfinding is defining the vision, the values. Where are we going? And alignment.
Making sure everything, all the systems, the rules, the org chart supports that path. And then empowerment is the final step, just unleashing the talent you already have.
And the really brilliant part of this is that the goal isn't just to lead people. It's to create more servant leaders.
Yes. You serve them so well, they become independent of you. They become leaders themselves. It propagates.
This idea of leadership as a calling, not just a job, it's also at the heart of what Max Dupree talked about. He had his 3 things necessary.
The first being the fiduciary nature of leadership.
Now, when I hear fiduciary, I think of money managers.
And that's part of it, but it's much bigger. It means you're a trustee. You hold the organization's talent, its health, its future in trust. Your job isn't to own it, it's to grow it and pass it on. You're a caretaker.
That completely reframes the role, which leads right into his second point, a broadened definition of competence.
Right. We tend to think competence is just about hitting the numbers, but Dupree insisted it's also about how well you handle relationships, how equitably you distribute the results. And he actually did this, right?
He did. At his company, Herman Miller, the CEO's pay was capped at 20 times the average worker's pay.
20 times. Not 200 or 400. 20.
And they had broad profit sharing, so it wasn't just talk. His third point was having a clear moral purpose, knowing that not everything important fits on a spreadsheet.
Okay, so we've got the philosophy, the ethics. Now, let's talk about the real world, because this isn't some fringe theory anymore. There's a hard business case for this.
A very hard business case. James Choquer made this argument really clearly. He said servant leadership isn't just a nice-to-have, it's an economic necessity.
Why a necessity?
Because the old top-down model, where power is held at the very top, is just too slow for today's world.
The people making the decisions are too far away from the customers, from the market.
Precisely. To be fast, to be innovative, you have to push power down, you have to build capacity and autonomy at all levels. Servant leadership is how you become a faster, smarter organization.
Which explains why you see it in so many successful companies. The sources mentioned Synovus Financial, Southwest Airlines, TD Industries.
And TD Industries is an amazing example. They're in construction, which usually has crazy high turnover. But they hire people for careers, not jobs.
They call their employees partners.
They do, and get this. The CEO only owns 6% of the stock. The rest is owned widely by the employees, the partners.
6%. That is radical power sharing.
It is, and the results are incredible. Their turnover is about 15% in an industry where it's often double or triple that. They even tie healthcare premiums to salary so everyone can afford good care. They're living the Greenleaf test.
You see a similar kind of thinking, maybe less explicitly, at Vanguard.
For sure. John Bogle's whole structure for Vanguard, where the fund shareholders actually own the company.
It forces the company to serve one master, the investor.
Exactly. It operates at cost. Bogle believed that singular focus on service was the key to their long-term success. The whole design is built on servitude.
And that idea of serving a single higher purpose, that's a perfect bridge to how this plays out beyond the corporate world, to the civil rights movement.
And to probably the greatest example of a servant leader in action, Fannie Lou Hamer.
She lived that Greenleaf test every single day.
Every single day. She tirelessly and fearlessly served the cause of Black voter registration in Mississippi, facing down incredible violence, jail time, constant threats.
That she didn't have a formal title, not at first. Her leadership was earned purely through her service.
And her vision just kept expanding. From voting rights, she moved to economic development, education, daycare. She took on President Johnson directly, demanding America live up to its ideals. She took her gifts and just gave them to the cause.
Her vision brings us to a more abstract part of this, the creative side, reclaiming what Michael Jones called the aesthetic.
Yeah, and by aesthetic, he meant imagination, feeling, sensing, seeing deeply, being able to visualize a better future, which is exactly what Fannie Lou Hamer did. Greenleaf said leaders need a sustained, wide span of awareness.
The ability to hold complexity without freaking out.
Right, and to not rush for an easy answer. It requires what he called living in the question.
Living in the question.
Being drawn to the mystery instead of needing the certainty. If you think you already have all the answers, you can't be creative. You can't respond to what's actually happening right now.
This all flows perfectly into D. Hock's idea of the chaotic age.
The founder of Visa.
Right. He basically said, our old way of seeing organizations as these predictable clockwork machines is just, it's broken. It's failing us.
He argued that the world is now chaotic, a blend of chaos and order. And if you accept that, then leadership has to change completely. It can't be about compelling behavior anymore.
It has to be about inducing behavior. What's the difference?
Compelling is tyranny. It's top-down command. Inducing is drawing out the wisdom that's already in the system, in the people. Hock believed that the wisdom of others is almost always more useful than our own, so the leader's job is to let that emerge.
And this was put into practice by Judy Wicks at the White Dog Cafe.
She ran her restaurant as a full-service company, serving 4 masters at once: her employees, the community, the environment, and her customers.
And she learned the key insight from a surprising place.
Yeah, as a Vista volunteer in an Eskimo village, she learned that true sustainability isn't about hoarding profits. It's about sharing resources.
Okay, but did it actually work as a business?
It did. She committed to paying a living wage way above the minimum. She said it was a leap of faith, and what happened was her profits went up.
Oh,
Better service, lower turnover, and it built this incredible community. She even started workplace giving programs where her entry-level staff became philanthropists because they actually had disposable income.
they became servants themselves. It's the Greenleaf test, proven in the real world.
And it all ties back to what John Schuster called the beautiful, diabolical beast of the new economy.
I like that phrase.
It drives out inefficiency, sure, but it also widens the gap between the haves and have-nots and just destroys the environment.
So servant leadership is the moral antidote. It's not about giving to charity after you've made your money. It's about changing how you make the money in the first place.
Precisely. You have to integrate the goodness into the process itself. You have to change the whole machine.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear servant leadership is so much more than a management style. It's a moral choice, a constant focus on the growth of others.
We've seen it go from a fictional character, Leo, all the way to a real R&D lab at Hewlett-Packard, changing their mission to be the best R&D facility for the world. It all starts with the choice to serve.
Right. So the final thought we want to leave you with, the thing for you to really mull over, it connects right back to that personal accountability, to your unique gifts.
It's a simple question. Who will play your music if you don't play it yourself?